The aroma is light, very light. Welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. My name is Lüning, Horst Lüning. I'm the master taster of Whisky.com, and today we have a long-awaited bottle here on my cask. It's a Johnnie Walker Select Casks Rye cask finish. 46% ABV. Unfortunately, it's artificially colored and it's not that expensive. It's around 40. The Select Casks series is a new series of Johnnie Walker where they are doing experiments. And this one is finished in rye casks, and we already discussed somewhere in the forum, I think, why there is no rye cask matured Scotch whisky on the market. Well, there are two reasons for this. I think the distillers in Scotland do not distinguish between ex-bourbon casks and ex-rye casks. And the second is that there are only very few rye casks on the market. And Johnnie Walker is in this case the pioneer in using rye casks. And they're using it not for the complete maturation, but only for the finish. And here they write, smooth blended Scotch whisky, aged in first fill American oak casks, first fill for a blend, and finished in ex-rye whiskey casks for distinctive flavor. What's a blend? This is a blended Scotch whisky, not to bother with the blended malt whisky, the Johnnie Walker Green. In the Johnnie Walker Green, only malt whiskies are blended together, and here you have malt whiskies as well as grain whiskies, which are produced on industrialized column stills for a cheaper, smoother, more neutral whiskey for mixing the blend. And how high the malt content in this whiskey is, I have no idea. But they say the way they are producing this is to first blend the whiskey from the different malts, where the Cardew is the lead malt in, and then finishing it in rye cask. Typically, there's a marriage period in between, where you marry the malt whiskies and the grain whiskies together to give an harmonious style in the complete vat, and then you divide it for the finishing on the rye casks. And after the finishing period of, I have no idea, 6-12 months, then you dump them in a vat again, and from that vat you're bottling. So it's quite an effort. So this one has more labor in it, but it's still not that expensive. And it has an age statement of 10 years, which is good in these days, where a lot of people, where Johnnie Walker, there had been the 18-year-old gold, and from this there was a gold reserve without an age statement, and only the platinum has 18 years on the label still. And there is the 12-year-old black label, and beside this there's the double black. I took a video of that in comparison. So they are tending to use or to switch over to no age statement, and that the green label came on the market again with an age statement of 15 years, and this one has 10 years. This is good news. Johnnie Walker thrives on experimentation. From the early days of John Walker, first blending whiskies, so the many unique blends created today, the history of Johnnie Walker is one of pioneering spirit. I believe that whiskey is ever evolving and experimental in nature, and I'm pleased to present our very own rye cask finish blended Scotch whisky. This person is Jimmy Beveridge, the master blender of Johnnie Walker. Matured for 10 years in first Scotch fill American oak casks and finished in cask formerly used to age rye whiskies, this full-bodied whisky has complex layers of flavor with hints of spice and vanilla woven into the smooth texture of Johnnie Walker, crafted for your enjoyment straight up on the rocks or as a great addition to a cocktail. Neat. Straight up, that's the right way. On the rocks is just selling this whiskey. The cooler a whiskey is, the less flavor develops. And as a great addition to a cocktail, then you taste the creation of the bartender, not of the whiskey. And we are here to taste what Jimmy Beverage created for us. So it's a screw cap, unfortunately. I don't like those metal ones, but this is quite stable. The aroma is light, very light. So 46% ABV. I thought that there would be a more powerful impact in the nose, but no, it's smooth, really smooth. Some vanilla showing up, a little creaminess, a little fruitiness. But to say this one is complex on the nose, I'm afraid this one is a little bit light on the nose. Probably if you have a second one or you dilute it to 40, down to 40%, some aromas will develop, but I'm typically tasting here what you're feeling in the first minutes. I do not have enough time to add water to let the whiskey rest on the cask or in the glass for development and so on. No, I'm tasting here in the beginning what I'm feeling, and how you go forward with that bottle is just up to you. It's not mine. Yeah, a little bit more showing up, but for a 46%, it's very smooth and, not to say thin, but not that complex as they do in comparison to single malt whiskies. Wow! Now there's the full impact. So it's 10 times the taste than the smell. And it's covering my mouth. It's mouth-watering, and there is a light bitterness showing up from the rye, which you're able to detect in ryes. And this is going over your tongue to the back, and the bitterness switches over to coffee, to espresso. But it's still smooth. Still some caramel, still some vanilla. A little bit more of vanilla in the nose now. The aftertaste is long. The rye whiskey on the tongue stays for a long time. So Canadian whiskey is typically a neutral grain whiskey mixed together with an extreme spicy, bitter rye whiskey. And this brings the mixed aromas from the Canadian whiskies. And I have no idea if this rye whiskey comes from Canada or from the US. Yeah, more and more vanilla showing through. The rye coming, yeah. So this whiskey is a little thin in the nose, I'm afraid, yes. But on the tongue, in the mouth, it's extremely powerful. Showing the rye, showing the bitterness of the rye. Mouth-watering, mouth-coating. Extremely. Yeah, this is a wonderful extension to the Johnnie Walker range and shows the connoisseur what a rye whiskey can bring to a Scotch. So it's the marriage of a rye and, well, the grain and the malt. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned, there's more to come. Feel free to share this video with your friends, and I'm happy to discuss this whiskey with you in our forum on Whisky.com.